Well, I'm just gonna cut. I'm just gonna be blunt to you. Your child died from fentanyl poisoning.
I have no knowledge to how fentanyl got in my daughter's sippy cup.
Jhenea Pratt was charged with criminal homicide and endangering the welfare of a child after a lethal amount of fentanyl was found in her 17-month-old daughter's bloodstream.
This is Jhenea Pratt, a mother taken into custody suspected of lacing her own 17-month-old daughter's sippy cup with fentanyl. With no motive on why Jhenea would do this, the cops knew they needed a confession quickly. What's even worse is that Jhenea was hostile and uncooperative with the doctors and the police. Jhenea quickly became the #1 suspect in the death of her daughter. The cops knew they had to move in on her and start the interrogation process to get justice for Charlotte Napper-Talley. And that's when the following happened.
Where did she fall asleep in her bedroom?
She came and got up on the couch with me.
Mm-hmm. You guys took a nap?
We barely fell asleep. By the time I was actually, like dozing off, Miss Vernon was knocking at the door.
Okay, and at that time you put her in her bedroom or left her on the couch?
At this time, I had picked her up because she was laying with me on the couch. I'm not sure if she was on top of me or beside me at that point.
At first glance, it's hard to believe she's just lost her child. She doesn't show any of the typical signs of grief. No tears, no frantic emotions. Instead, she remains unusually calm, even smoking as she speaks. While shock might be one way to explain her demeanor, her calmness seems too composed for that. There's a strange stillness about her, leaving an unsettling sense that something is off.
Did she eat or drink anything?
No, she didn't eat or drink anything. She had left her. He said she didn't want her sippy cup before they walked out the door to come and get me. So he left the sippy cup there.
Which sippy cup was that?
To my knowledge, it should have been the pink one.
The pink sippy cup?
Mm-hmm.
And where was that located?
I'm not even sure. I wasn't there.
Did he have that or did she have it?
It was left.
It was left there?
She didn't want it on the way out the door.
Okay. When you say on the way out the door, you mean?
When they left to come and get me from school.
Okay, when you came back, that pink sippy cup, do you remember what it was?
I didn't even see the sippy cup.
Jhenea has just implicated her boyfriend. She mentioned that the last time anything was put in the sippy cup was when her boyfriend put some juice in it right before they left. She refused to drink it at that time, and later when she came back from school, the baby ended up drinking that same juice. While she doesn't directly accuse him, her statements imply that her boyfriend's actions with the sippy cup may have contributed to the tragic outcome.
When you lived at that address, did you get anything delivered in the mail from overseas?
I had just ordered her entire room from Walmart. I don't know if that came from overseas or not.
Well, Walmart won it. I'm saying, like, did you order anything that maybe that might have been out of the ordinary? Anything from a different country?
No, my mother purchased the baby gate that was in her room.
Okay.
I believe she purchased that from Walmart also.
Okay. There would be no reason like you would get any packages, say, from China or from Japan or anything like that.
Like directly from them?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. But to your knowledge,
I ordered everything from Walmart.
Investigators asked Jhenea Pratt if she ordered anything from China because there's a known link between China and the trafficking of fentanyl into the U.S. Sometimes fentanyl is manufactured in China, either as a finished product or as precursor chemicals. These precursor chemicals are shipped to Mexico, where Mexican cartels, powerful criminal organizations, take over. In Mexico, these cartels process the precursor chemicals into fentanyl, mixing it with other substances to create a product for distribution. After processing, the fentanyl is smuggled into the United States. There are also cases where fentanyl is shipped directly from China to drug dealers or heavy drug users in the U.S. This is why investigators asked Jhenea about purchases from China. to find any potential connections.
I'm telling you, I returned to my house from being picked up from school, and I did nothing out of the usual.
Do you get fentanyl delivered from China?
I don't know anything about fentanyl.
Did you ever put anything in her sippy cup other than Huggy juice?
She's drank water, she's drank milk, she's drank Kool-Aid, liquids.
But have you ever put anything in there?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Other than,
I mean, because some parents will give their kids a little bit of, Benadryl or something like that, so they can.
no, that doesn't go in a sippy cup because it's supposed to be measured out, and Benadryl's not supposed to be drank. Tylenol's not supposed to be drank over a specific amount of hours. It's supposed to be one dose, and that's it.
Right, I agree with you. But parents.
I'm not one of those people
Okay.
or parents.
According to a 2024 study published by West Orlando News, nearly 79% of parents have reported using sleep aids like melatonin, Benadryl, and other substances to help their children sleep. The study reveals that these practices are surprisingly common, with 66% of parents using melatonin and 35% turning to Benadryl. Interestingly, 25% of parents admitted to using these substances for children as young as 3 years old. While melatonin and Benadryl were the most commonly used, there are other, more hardcore substances being used, though we won't get into those details. The study also found that Millennial and Gen Z parents are more likely to administer these sleep aids, with 84% of Millennials and 83% of Gen Z parents reporting they've used such substances, compared to a smaller percentage of older generations. Despite the widespread use of these sleep aids, experts caution that the long-term safety and effects of these substances on children are still not fully understood.
So just to be clear, the stuff that was in that sippy cup, you did put in or you did not?
I did not.
Okay. Do you have any idea? Well, I'm just gonna be blunt to you. Your child died from fentanyl poisoning.
So why did CYF tell me hypoxic cardiac arrest?
There weren't lab results then. So I'm going to explain this to you, okay? In that sippy cup was fentanyl. In her blood was fentanyl. We just got these results back. It's the same type of fentanyl that people are overdosing every day in Pittsburgh and dying from. Same exact type. Okay. So I need to know how the fentanyl got in the sippy cup. Because right now it's not an accident. Okay. It wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't any other reason other than she overdosed on fentanyl, which is the same fentanyl that people in the streets are dying on every single day. How'd the fentanyl get in the sippy cup, Jhenea?
Just straight fentanyl?
Yeah.
So what is it, like a liquid,
I'm not a scientist. It comes in a liquid form, it comes in a powder form. I'm not exactly sure, but what I am sure of is that fentanyl was put in a sippy cup and there was liquid mixed into it and it was given to Charlotte and that's how she died. So I need to know how that got in there.
I have no knowledge to how fentanyl got in my daughter's sippy cup.
Okay. Because you realize right now this investigation is taking a whole different turn.
Yeah, clearly.
And when someone gives someone something and they die from it, it's a homicide. She was poisoned intentionally.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I've been making complaints to my rent office because I've been smelling a funny smell in my house several times returning back to my house.
This is since you've moved, or?
No, this is living in apartment number 5.
Jhenea firmly insists she didn't put anything in her daughter's drink. Any innocent person would lose it, lash out, be outraged if they were accused of such a thing, especially when it's their own child. But when confronted with the harsh reality that her daughter died from fentanyl poisoning, the same fentanyl that's tearing through the streets of Pittsburgh, claiming the lives of countless young people, Jhenea's reaction is chilling. It doesn't even faze her.
The amount of fentanyl that was in her system was extremely high. Okay, it was very high, and that's essentially when she drank the sippy cup. Whenever she picked that sippy cup off the bed, it was absorbed very quickly, and once she swallowed it, she didn't have much time to survive. I mean, it was enough to kill a very large animal.
There's no way my daughter could have got into any type of fentanyl.
I agree with you. I agree. I think someone, just like a bartender, mixes up a drink, put it in that sippy cup. It's the only possible way it could have got in there.
So what are you implying?
I'm asking. I'm just asking straight up how it got in there.
And I'm telling you straight up, I have no clue how it got in
No
there.
clue. I'm gonna step out for a little bit. Let you think about this.
There's nothing to think about.
Okay, well, I need to step out anyway. Did you have any people in your house that use heroin?
No.
Do you use heroin?
No.
Does your boyfriend use heroin?
No.
Other than smoking weed, do you do any other drugs?
No.
If you had to guess how it got in there, is there any way, any guess you could have?
A manufacturing issue with the happy drinks?
So you think it could have been the Huggy?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, I took a sip of those Huggies and it didn't really have a pleasing taste to it.
We tested the Huggies.
Mm.
No fentanyl. Did anyone else have access to the apartment?
Maintenance people, the people who run the place.
So other than the maintenance people and people that run the place, the only person that has access to it is you and Mr. Williams.
Yes.
The crime lab's forensic analysis determined that the fentanyl given to Charlotte was potent enough to kill a very large animal. The investigators suggested that she might have been given a drink laced with the substance, similar to how a bartender would mix a cocktail. They questioned her heavily about any heroin use by her or her boyfriend, which she denied. When the lead investigator asked her to take a guess as to how the fentanyl ended up in Charlotte's system, her guess was that it came from a Huggies drink, saying she took a sip and found it unpleasant. The detective quickly shut that down, explaining that forensic tests showed no fentanyl in the drink itself, only trace amounts detected in the cup that was given to her. With that theory dismantled, she pointed out that maintenance personnel also had access to her apartment, once again casting blame elsewhere.
Is there any more questions, officer, detective?
Do you agree with me?
I'm not agreeing because who would do that to a child?
That's a
There's no possible way any
really
of
messed
that
up
could have
person.
been.
Really messed up person would do that.
There's no possible way.
Well, got in there somehow. And the amount of fentanyl she had could have killed probably 2 horses that was in her system. Okay.
Any more questions?
No.
Am I under arrest?
No.
Can I go?
Sure.
After 2 days of deliberations, the jury found Jhenea Pratt guilty of involuntary manslaughter and endangering the welfare of children.
Jhenea Pratt was sentenced to 5 to 10 years in state prison. In an unrelated, heartbreaking turn of events, the child's biological father was killed in a shootout with police not long after.